Hello there. So I want to talk to you today about the 3 types of practice that you need in your art. And the first one of these is the obvious one, that you would practice any new skills. So that's about repetition and getting to be familiar with the new process, or developing skills, same as you would in any practical activity. And that's obviously important in whatever your primary medium is, so that you can become more fluent. I forget who it was, but quite a famous ceramicist once talked about having to kind of master the medium, the materials, in order to let that mastery go. So you have to be, he's saying, you have to be on top of it so that you can be free to express things fluently in whatever way suits whatever you want to say. And you only get that through repetition, through that kind of regular routine practice. And if you're starting out, that's obviously the key one. So if you're a beginner or an improver, you'll need to be experimenting with different materials and improving your skills in whichever ones speak to you. The second sort of practice is something that's perhaps more easily overlooked. And you can think of this as a kind of daily cycle. So it's the things that you do every day that help you to keep your creativity flowing. They help keep you kind of warmed up, if you like. So they're a bit like, doing the scales or doing the stretches, or, that kind of routine activity. And these are really useful on several levels. So if you're not creating full time, and I know most of you aren't, then this is a really good way of making sure that creativity is always kind of near the top of the list in your mind, because what you do every day is who you are. In the same way as if you want to be an active person, you have to do something active every day, or you have to take your exercise regularly. Doing these daily practices is a good equivalent to that. So it's could be compared to like a daily meditation or brushing your teeth. It's a kind of maintenance thing as well. And it also gives you a way to kind of develop small projects. So this is a good place to start if you're in that kind of improving zone and you want to get into doing your independent artwork, but you're not quite sure yet what to do. You can set yourself, make it a really small challenge so it's manageable even on a busy day, but something that you can do every day. So a drawing practice is obviously really easy to fit into life, so that's a great one to pick. But like I have a daily drawing practice that I'd say when I first come into the studio in the morning, at least one, sometimes more. But I also have a sort of regular photography. I walk for my, a lot of us are at the moment, but I have a particular theme that I look out for when I'm walking. So every walk I take a photograph, and that's part of my art practice. And I write it up and save it. So again, that's the way of keeping your creativity in the top of your mind and keeping you kind of engaged in it, and the ideas flowing and the creativity flowing. And then the third type of practice that you'll get into more perhaps as you get into the sort of visioning or deep creation phase is a sort of longer term practice that has a kind of, sometimes artists call it their process. They get used almost interchangeably, a process or a practice. And this might be a whole sequence of different steps that somebody takes for a project that they're working on. So, I mean, for some people, like if you paint daily life, the stages of your process or practice will all happen within a single day. But if, like me, you work in a slower way, the different phases can happen over months or even years. And so it's helpful to have that sense of the whole overarching practice or process, so that you know kind of where you are in that project, and you know what you need to do first, and then you know what comes next. And it helps you to shape the project and to know where you are in them and sort of navigate. And that gives us a little hint really about the kind of deeper value of these practices and why they're so helpful. And I've talked before about how art kind of always entails going out of the comfort zone, going into the unknown, that kind of stretch. And that can be difficult to navigate. You know, if you don't know where you're going, it's hard to get there. So if you have these daily or project long practices, that they help you to know what to do next. So, you know, for me, I know after breakfast, I come into the studio and I do some drawing. I don't have to think about what I'm going to do next. I don't have to make decisions. I don't have to use up my willpower. I don't have to decide what I feel like. I just come in and I do my drawing. And I know kind of, you know, I've got all the things that I need for my drawings in one place. So I just come in and I do it and it's automatic. But the longer term ones are really great for if you have your art time, whether that's a spontaneous thing or a scheduled thing, and you know you want to do something, but you're, you know, often you sort of finish one stage and think, oh, what do I do next? And there's that uncertainty and you feel a bit lost and you don't quite know where you're going. And it's easy to get discouraged by that for all of us. But if you have that sense of long-term practice, then you know, oh, I'm in the early stages at the moment, so I need to do more research or recording or finding the details, whatever it is for you. So for me, that's walking and photographing and drawing the elements that I'm interested in. And when I've done that, then I know that I can move on to the next stage, which is more studio based and involves more drawing and collage and things. So I know where I am in my project, and that makes it easier to navigate. And by using all three levels of these practices, it means that it's easier to keep going, which is not always straightforward, as I'm sure you've discovered. And it means that you know where you're going next. And it builds fluency so that you can become kind of masterful with your particular materials and allow it to express your own personality. So that's the three types of practice that you need in your art, and a little bit on why they're useful. So I'd love to hear in the comments if you're doing any of these regularly. Do let us know how many you're doing and which ones they are, how they help. And I look forward to seeing that. Okay, see you soon. Bye for now.